Hi, there's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com, here with a bit of a rant video that I hope offends a lot of people, especially the particular people, because it's something that needs to be said regarding Puca Trade. Now, I have Puca traded for quite a while. There's been some pretty nasty videos put out about Puca Trade by some other YouTubers that absolutely hate the system and call it a scam or kind of a pyramid scheme or whatnot. I'll have to have links in the description below about those videos. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to write a whole critical article, and I'll link everyone's side and points of view in the article. It's something I've had on my to-do list for quite a while now with Puca Trade, but I thought I'd at least have a short video about the major concerns that I'm having with Puca Trade lately. So, as you may know, Puca Trade just surpassed their 5 millionth trade, I believe. Other than it's saying 4.6 here. They said somewhere that there was 5 million trades that have been completed on Puca Trade, and why that's cause to celebrate. And I'm actually going to make the argument that there should be no reason to celebrate Puca Trade right now, with some glaring problems with the system right now. And I've been accused by Puca Trade in the past. I remember one of their guys commented on my video about how I don't understand markets and how I don't know what I'm talking about. And I can't remember what that was in regards to. But this whole video with Puca Trade, my biggest problem right now is bounties and why they shouldn't need to exist. Now, Puca Trade doesn't let you set prices. It's basically their ideology that they don't want anyone to become scammed. So what's happening is they set the prices for you based upon an external market price. So I think they use a combination of TCG Player and some other sources. They won't be 100% transparent with what those sources are, of how they come to how much a Puca point is based upon. But roughly, one Puca point is based around, I believe, a cent. So something that costs 100 Puca points is roughly $1 US. And that, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. I mean, the United States dollar is the most accepted currency in the world. It's also most of the Magic players and most people that trade on Puca Trade are from the United States. And I'm not discounting the people that are outside the United States, but I mean, I think that's fine to base it upon the United States dollar. However, the biggest problem with how Puca Trade really judges how much a card should be worth is they're looking externally rather than internally for the market demand. And that is why you can now see bounties everywhere, even on these top traders. Bounties. Hey, and look here, a Puca point is now 0.65 of a dollar. So it's crashing in value. It was, I think when I started, Puca Trade was about 0.85, then it went down to 0.8, then 0.75, then 0.7, and now we have people that are selling them for 0.65. Mind you, selling Puca points is actually illegal. That can get you banned, which is kind of funny that someone on this top trader is actually writing their profile talking about how they sell Puca points. Anyway, so let me talk about why a problem with bounties. Why people are creating bounties is no one is sending them a card. That is a problem. A market is all based upon supply and demand. If there is a demand for something, or the supply runs low and there's a demand for something greater than the supply, then the price goes up. That is what happens in an unmanipulated market. But since this is a very manipulated market, in the fact that Puca Trade is basing the value on an external market where people aren't willing right now to buy Shocklands and Fetchlands and Thoughtseizes. In fact, all of those, besides Shocklands, like Thoughtseizes and Fetchlands especially, been crashing for the last... I guess crashing is not the right word, but they've been significantly going down for the past few months now. I mean, even since Theros rotated, Thoughtseize has continued to go down. And the same can be said about the Fetchlands since Khazan's Darkira is rotated. So why is a card that no one is buying, or at least the prices, no one's buying to meet the demand, or the demand is not meeting the supply in the TCG player market and the cash market for paper Magic cards, then how come there is a bazillion people that want the card on Puca Trade. It's because the market is different. A lot of people here want high-end cards. A lot of these traders are actually professional traders. They're stores. They are people with an extensive amount of commons, uncommons, and bulk rares they're trying to get rid of, and that easily meets the demand on Puca Trade. But vice versa, the high-end cards are not met, and we don't have a real-world market here. And so I think this is something that Puca Trade must address, like right now. Actually, they should have addressed it 5 months ago, 6 months ago, 7 months ago. Of course, my other complaint about Puca Trade is they did an Indiegogo campaign and raised like $40,000 and have done jack to the website since then. There was a ton of promises to incorporate MTGO with, you can actually trade for MTGO cards or tickets and all these other stuff. Nope, nil, nada. So one of the things that I think the very first solution that Puca Trade should be doing is every Puca point that people buy should be invested back into cards. I'm okay with Puca Trade taking the money that they receive from these subscriptions, since this is a subscription-based service. So all these silver and gold levels that you see here, people actually pay a monthly fee. I'm cool with that. That should be enough to maintain or the upkeep of the website. All this other, the ability to actually buy additional points, Puca Trade should invest in high demand cards. They should be going to TCG Player or some other vendors and actually spending that money to meet the demand of what people want. So let's just go here to the trends. Let's go over here and see all of the cards, the top cards that people want. So right now there is the most active wants. The most active wants. There are over 1,400 people wanting a Polluted Delta. Polluted Delta has been going down in the paper market for cash, yet over 1,400 people still want it. If you want a Polluted Delta, good luck getting one without making it a bounty. Now, again, there's two ways to correct this. One way would be for Puca Trade itself to start investing in all the points that are purchased into actually buying Polluted Deltas and sending those off to meet the demand down. A second way is to allow people to set their own prices for Polluted Delta and maybe have it like highlight, like this person's paying the most for it. The third way, and this is what I suggest, is have the demand be internal, not external. For every 100 wants that aren't fulfilled within a week, maybe the price of the card should go up by 1 or 2% until it meets that area where people are willing to send off a Polluted Delta. I personally have plenty of fetch lands from Khans of Tarkir. I own a local game store. When things rotate, people tend to get rid of all their cards. I have plenty of these just lying around that I would send off if I thought they were worth it. The whole reason is that at 0.65 Puca points per dollar, a Polluted Delta is actually, so 19 and you almost half that. I could sell this on eBay or TCG Player for a lot better use than actually sending it off for Puca points. So that has to be fixed for these high-end cards. There has to be a higher point value being added to these type of cards to make it actually the demand actually meet the supply, and where people are willing to send these off. You can actually start to see these on other cards. So here's one of the ways. So trades, let's go ahead and try to send a card here. So one of the things I do right now, which is a personal, what I like to do is I just like to go over here and type in origins, because I have a ton of origin cards that are going to rotate. They're going to lose their value. So we just oops, let's actually go over into send a card. I'm in the wrong bracket here. So I like to go over here and you can search by card name and whatnot, or set name. And right now I just like to click in origins because I'm trying to get rid of all my origins cards. And I find a bunch of trades every now and again. But just look at these days undoing. Days undoing for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks has been at this price, and no one has been able to fulfill this demand and send off these days undoing for how many people want them. Another one is Jace's Sanctum. The whole reason for Jace's Sanctum that no one wants to send it off is it's 35 Puca points. It's not worth your time to send this card off. And so there's tons of people that want these specific cards. Evolutionary Leap's another one of these. So this Jags wants a ton of them, and no one is willing to send them off at 98 cents a piece. More Jace's Sanctums, more Clash of Wills that people want, and people just don't feel it's worthwhile to send them off at 45 cents a piece. this is where I know a lot of people say, oh, well, then you could just easily manipulate the market by putting a ton of cards on your want list and then hurrying and taking them down when the price actually increases and then sending them off to people. That is basically fraud. If you're caught doing that, that is where Puca Trade should ban the account. So that's not a good argument saying that they shouldn't have a way to self-regulate the market just because people will find a way around that to manipulate it. If people are caught manipulating it, ban them. That's what TCG Player does. TCG Players has recently banned stores for trying to manipulate their price. So again, it's just ludicrous to me. It's just complete insanity that these bonuses have to exist. Bonus, like all of these bonus to people because they're just so desperate to receive these cards that they can't get because no one is willing to send them off at these type of prices. So you can see it's all of the same cards. The diversity of cards in this, let's just click on name and we'll show you the lack of diversity in cards that are actually wanted. So tons and tons of just the same cards. A lot of these commons, people just don't have enough points for them, so these are irrelevant. All these people that don't have points to actually... A trade is only worthwhile to actually send it, I would say around 200 Puca points, because by the time you pay for your time, the stamp, and the envelope, it's not worth your time. So, but you can start seeing we're getting into these things, like look at these Jace's Sanctums. Just pages of Jace's Sanctums that people want. Another one is you go back to like Theros block, and it's only Thoughtseizes that people want. It's ridiculous between like high-end foils and a few other cards just like Theros that are people just aren't willing to look how many pages of Thoughtseizes. That is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous that Puca Trade just doesn't adjust to the demand. Anyway, I hope this is well received. I hope this gets back to Puca Trade and they can actually listen and take this to heart and not just say I don't know nothing about markets or economies and stuff. I own a local game store. I buy and sell on TCG Player and eBay. And, you know, and I love actually using a trading service. I think it's actually a very smart idea. It saddens me that now something actually can't come up because Puca Trade has a stranglehold on this kind of niche through the trading services. But, you know, I would definitely switch. If there was another service that came out that actually addressed these concerns, I would definitely switch, and I would tell my fans to do the same. Because it's been over a year since the Indiegogo campaign. It just doesn't seem like Puca Trade has any interest in upgrading or really addressing these concerns that we have as a community. Now, again, I'm not as radical, I guess, or as what's the word, opposing of the Puca Trade that I think the MTG Degree and Open Boosters and MTG Lion are about Puca Trade, and they have actually some legitimate concerns about the Puca Trade service. They also have some, I think, nonsensical concerns, like especially some of these MTG Degree says in his video make absolutely zero sense about the complaints about the Puca Trade. But, I mean, this is something they definitely can address, and I hope that they do so that we can get back to a good trading service. And I can start sending awesome Thoughtseizes. I've got like 12 of them, but I'm not going to send them at the Puca point price that they say that they are worth. Anyway, this has been Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.